The 17th edition of the Malta International Air Show was held last weekend, and 7 countries participated. These were Malta, Italy, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and the United States of America. After 3 years, the 2009 show saw the flying display return back over Malta International Airport. Hundreds attended over the weekend, which was blessed with good weather and blue skies. And it was not just an opportunity to be thrilled by watching the flying display aircraft. It was also a good day to have a look around some of the world's most famous aircraft, such as the Charlie 130 Hercules transport and the air-to-air refueling tanker, the KC-135, both from the United States Air Force. The fighter planes on the ground gave also the opportunity for unique photos to be taken alongside these jets with their aircrew. The flying display was made up of nearly every type of aircraft that could fly. An Italian paramotor, microlights, the Italian civil protection water bomber called the Canadair CL-415, a business Learjet 60, a balletic and spectacular formation flight set to music flown by the Italian Pioneer Formation Team, the Italian military mission in Malta, demonstrating a helicopter rescue operation, the thundering afterburner and high-G manoeuvres of the Royal Netherlands F-16 Fighting Falcon, and the grand finale with the precision aerobatic display flown by the Breitling jet team. There were also human flyers as well, in the form of the British Army Tigers free-fall parachute team, who delighted crowds with their free-fall demonstration. First, let's have a look at some of the static display aircraft that we had at the 2009 Malta International Air Show. It was the United States of America that contributed most, with 7 assets on display both from the Air Force and the Navy. The KC-135 was open to the public so that one could have a good look at the inside of this massive beauty and how it operates. Queues of people were seen as soon as the gates opened until late in the evening. Next to it could be found one of the world's most remarkable transport aircraft, the Charlie 130 Hercules, with its 4 turboprop engines. The C-130 is used mainly for transport, both of troops and even large military vehicles. 2 other transport aircraft were on show, the C-21 and the C-26. A not-so-common visitor to Malta was the US Navy MH-60S Seahawk helicopter, belonging to the commander of the 6th Fleet. And spectators were allowed to have a good look around this helicopter on the static park throughout the day. One of the world's most renowned fighter jets, the F-15 Eagle, was presented with 2 parked imposingly next to other fighters from other countries. After having had a look at the American participation this year, let's now take a quick look at the other static participants.
Plain talking, take us so far, broken down car, like strung out old stars, plain talking, served us so well, we traveled through hell, know how we felt.
The Learjet 60 display was this pilot's first ever public show in Malta, and soon after we had some other local microlight aircraft from the Island Microlight Club giving a short display of their aircraft. But the attention was soon taken from the Learjet and microlights by an Italian paramotor, flown by an international champion pilot who, once airborne, flew between 2 closely positioned poles to pick up the Maltese national flag. He then flew around with the flag hung from his ankles to the delight of the watching crowds. After which it was the time for the Tigers free-fall parachute team from the British Army to perform using the Armed Forces of Malta CASA 212. The CASA 212 is piloted by a contract pilot and a pilot from the AFM. All members of the Tigers have well over the minimum requirement of 200 jumps to permit them to display publicly, and they jumped from over 5,000 feet. We went up with Frank Millerick, one of the team jumpers, And he had this to say about jumping out of the aircraft.
First time you do it does, yeah. The second time is even worse, and then after about sort of a couple of hundred, it gets a lot better. Your adrenaline, you get used to the adrenaline, but it's still something it's a challenge every time you jump out. So, we're grateful for the air show for inviting us. We're grateful for the British Army for letting us do it. So it's a full-time job for us.
Frank is the cameraman of the team, so let's enjoy some footage we got from him while jumping in the Malta International Air Show.
Lift me up, higher now I'm up. 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 Plain talking, making us bold, so strung out and cold. I'm feeling so old. Plain talk has ruined us now. You'll never know how. Sweeter than doubt.
Before we left Frank, he also had some encouraging words for the Malta International Air Show.
It's a fantastic air show. I mean, as you can imagine, I go to a lot of air shows, and this one is fantastic. The pilots and they're letting everyone go onto the aircrafts, have a good look around. There's no holds barred. It's a really good day out.
Thanks a lot, Frank. And now to one of our favourite flying display aircraft. It's a huge airframe with a lovely bright yellow colour scheme, which enables it to be seen easily by other aircraft when they're all on operational tasks together. You don't see a lot of this airplane in other air shows, but here in Malta it does come to visit after the peak of the wildfire season in Italy is over. Ladies and gentlemen, the Italian Civil Protection Canadair CL415, the water bomber, gets airborne with an impressive climb angle just after takeoff, and before the water bomber leaves for its seawater collection, it will show us some high-speed, low-level passes. And here it comes for the first drop of 6,137 litres of water. As you can see clearly, the underneath of this amphibious aircraft is shaped like the hull of a boat, so that it can take off and land on water as well as collecting water from 4 fuselage scoops while skimming the water at 75 knots. After an impressive display from the water bomber, now let's have a look at an Italian-Maltese helicopter crew jointly demonstrating a rescue operation using the Augusta Bell 212 helicopter of the Italian military mission based here in Malta. As you can see, the AB-212 is a versatile helicopter, good for all weather conditions, and here the pilot shows us some of the search and rescue techniques that can be used. As we can also see, the helicopter is now searching for the casualty, and as soon as they see him, they will start reducing power and speed while keeping the casualty in sight. The AB-212 will now come into position over the casualty so that the rescuer can be lowered down near him. As you can see, the rescuer has already started his descent towards the casualty, and he has requested the winch operator to lower a stretcher so that they can get the unconscious or immobile casualty onto it. After the stretcher is safely on the ground, the helicopter moves away to enable rescuer to do his job more easily, and the rescuer then signals to the helicopter that he is ready and drops a smoke flare so that the pilot and crew can see the wind direction and speed. This enables him to carry out a safe approach towards the rescuer and casualty. When the AB-212 is in position, the winch again is lowered so that both the rescuer and the casualty are lifted up to safety together. The rescuer holding the stretcher in the right position so that no physical stress is suffered by the casualty. After that rescue demonstration, we now meet up with Captain Ralph Arts from the Royal Netherlands Air Force. Ralph is the F-16 Fighting Falcon display pilot, and he tells us what it takes to be able to demonstrate the F-16 Fighting Falcon.
First of all, you need to get a regular pilot training, a military pilot training, of course, since F-16 is a military aircraft. Then before you are allowed to fly air shows, in our Air Force we have a minimum of 1,000 flying hours on the F-16, and you need to be a flight lead as well. So you need to be able to go to war with multiple aircraft and you leading it. It's just that you have some extra experience which you need during the whole season. Other than that, you need to be really motivated because it takes a lot of time doing the whole demo thing. But it is every second you put into the team, it is worth it. Flying this great machine at these altitudes with these maneuvers is just a blast every time. It's a big thrill. You need to be able to fly in a coordinated way. So you have the joystick to fly, the throttle, and you have the rudder pedals for the feet. And you have to move those all in one coordinated manner to make the show look real nice. Do a special breathing technique to keep the blood from going from your head to your legs, but you want to push it up to your head, and so you will not faint during the flight. That's important. So it's an 11-minute show, and it is just hard work, and but again, a lot of fun.
For a display pilot to take part in many shows during the season, it's a lot of hard work. But he is not on his own, as he has a whole team backing him up, from coaches to technicians. So let's see what Ralph has to say about his technicians and their job.
Flying here in the weekend 2 air shows, it's not only my part of flying the 11 minutes, but it's a whole team involved in it. And we have right now we have 4 technical crew here who will take care of the aircraft, of the engine. They will check up the aircraft after every flight and before every flight again, so that the aircraft is in perfect condition. Because it should be a nice show, but it should especially be a safe show. The people who are watching today, they're just looking forward to a great day in a nice weather like this, and they should go home with a good feeling about it, and that they come back next year. So safety is the first thing, and then of course making it a spectacular show with a lot of noise and a lot of maneuvers. That's what we do.
From the thunderous sound of the F-16, we shall move on as another newcomer from the Malta International Air Show takes to the sky. This is the pioneer team formation flight, the Sky Dancers. As you can see, each pilot flies in very close formation and just a few feet from the other members of the team. The team consists of 4 Pioneer 300 aircraft. All pilots are Italian, and they do all this as a part-time job. Let's enjoy the formation maneuvers flown by Sky Dancer, which is accompanied by great music. Watch carefully for some surprises towards the end of the show. We now arrive at the grand finale of this year's airshow, the world's only professional civilian team flying jet aircraft, the Breitling Jet Team. It's also the first time that the team has displayed here in Malta. Team leader Jacques Bothelin explains how they came to Malta.
The very good relationship I have with Giussi Liberty. We're working in the same association to promote air shows all over Europe called EAC, and he's a long-time friend, and I was so happy to get his invitation for this show because that's the first time our team is coming to the Malta Air Show.
Jacques continues to tell us more about the team.
The Breitling Jet Team is a 7-ship, 7-jet display team. What is unique is the fact that we are the only professional civilian jet team in the world. Our friends and competitors are the national teams like the Frecce Tricolore or the Red Arrows that are familiar to come here, but they are military. Their sponsor is the state and the Queen, in case of the Red Arrows. Our sponsor, the watch company.
All that has a beginning has to have an end, and while watching the Breitling team perform their display, we would like to thank the Malta Aviation Society, Malta International Airport, Malta Air Traffic Control Services, the Armed Forces of Malta, the Tigers Freefall Jumpers, the Royal Netherlands Air Force, the Pioneer Skydancer Team, the Breitling Jet Team, and all the other participants in this year's air show, and of course most of all the general public who attended the show and experienced an excellent day out for all the family. Hope to see you next year at the 2010 Malta International Air Show.